So for this week 6 access to water challenge, I've basically designed a zip line system prototype to transport water. I did a lot of research both online and by talking to peers and family members, who have been to third world countries and seen things like this. And I got a lot of different ideas. Basically, all of the access challenges that I found were related to getting clean water in large amounts, both to drink and to do things, around the house. But I came up with some solutions that I thought were both exclusionary or inclusionary. The first one I found was this thing called the PAC H2O, which is basically a compact backpack with a plastic liner to transport water. And I decided this was an exclusionary solution, just because although the designers were addressing the issue of carrying water on their heads and the spinal problems that could cause, they really just put the idea to carry it on their backs, which doesn't really solve that problem. It's still causing issues in spines and things like that. Obviously the hippo roller, which is the example that was given for this project, I think that's a very inclusionary solution, just because that directly addresses and empathizes with the issues that these people in these villages are having. And as far as the filtration system, I think there's a lot more solutions out there for that issue than there are for the transportation issue. But there's things like the life straw, which I had a hard time deciding if this was inclusionary or exclusionary, but I decided it was inclusionary because it really just does address the issue of, like you can drink water anywhere. You can drink straight from a river, straight from a bucket with this life straw, and it automatically filters it. But you can't really filter large quantities at a time, which is something that these people and these families need. And then there's things like the water purifying bicycle, which I thought was inclusionary because you pedal on a bike, and it filters large amounts of water, which empathizes with the whole idea of filtering larger amounts at a time. And then there's a lot of other things like iodine tablets, which I think are exclusionary solutions, because although they are addressing the issue of sanitizing large amounts of water, it's very technical. There's very specific measurements that are involved that if you get them slightly wrong, the sanitation will become ineffective. And a lot of these villagers don't have technical experience or math skills necessarily to do these measurements exactly correct. And finally, one of the other common solutions for these problems that I found was special saddles for animals, for pack animals. And I also thought that was exclusionary because not everybody has animals at their disposal. Not everybody has a mule to load up some cans of water on. So those are just some of the more specific examples that I found, but I'll kind of run you through my prototype here. If you can imagine that I obviously don't have a bucket, that this is my bucket of water. I figured a zip line would be an efficient way where if you can fill your bucket and place it up on your zip line, then if you can get it up on the zip line, all you're gonna have to do is either push it along, or ideally it would be motorized, but obviously I don't have the equipment to be doing that. And I kind of demonstrated a turn in the path because obviously they're not going to be going on a straight line for the entire part of their journey. So all you'd have to do is theoretically pick the bucket up and move it to the next segment of zip line. And then it would continue to either get pushed along by the motor or by hand. But I think, this is a pretty good solution overall. It's not like the hippo roller where you have to try and push it over big rocks or bumps or up a steep hill. And ideally, like I said, to refine this, I would have better materials, not just, baling wire and a box and some duct tape. But if I could have it motorized or have a more durable form of zip line wire, so you could have larger amounts of water on a zip line at the same time. And I really want to be able to test this out and make sure that it does work, and both that sense of durability and efficiency, where, like I talked about, it's not hard to maintain. If something breaks, it's not something that is difficult for these villagers with lack of experience to fix. It's not a very complex motor, complex system. But that is my prototype, and I think that does a good job of temporarily solving this transportation issue of water. So thank you.